Hi guys, welcome to Bend It Like Razor. This is going to be a series of 5 or 6 videos that will go from the basics of what a bender is and why we use one to being an advanced John Barrowman style bender. The first one's quite beginner stuff, so if you know what you're doing with a bender, it might be better to skip to the next one, assuming I've made one. But if not, let's have a look. Now, unless you've had a lot of practice with a pipe bender, it's kind of like playing the bagpipes, but with a lot less blowing, and you don't get to wear a skirt, I'm afraid. Now, probably enough bender jokes for a minute, so let's have a look. In the UK, for our domestic pipe systems, most of it is in 1/2 inch 15mm or 3/4 inch 22mm pipework. If we were to use a soldered elbow here, then it increases the effective length of the pipe by 1/2 metre. So in other words, if you had a piece of piping with 10 elbows, you're actually making that pipe effectively 5 metres longer in terms of flow. Unfortunately not 5 metres longer in terms of length, otherwise you could just take it to the scrappy. If you use a bend, it's 0.3 metres, and it does vary depending on pipe size, but for the UK that's pretty true. Now, the actual machine. This is an old Hillmore, which is the make most UK plumbers kind of swear by. You get much cheaper machines, but they do tend to ripple the pipes horrendously. The formers aren't quite so good, and they just don't do such a good job. A couple of modifications to my one. It's been cut slightly short so it fits in the toolbox. But I keep all my bending stuff in. It's fine, but I probably wouldn't recommend you do that unless you're reasonably strong, otherwise bending 22mm becomes a bit more of an issue because you haven't got the leverage. The actual hook that holds the pipe here, you can't see probably on camera, but it's actually been filed out there and there at a slight angle. The reason being that if I put a pipe in there and it's pushed down like that, otherwise it tends to dig and make a slight dent in the pipe there, whereas because mine's at an angle, it makes contact all the way. And the last thing I've done to it, I've just cut this corner off. It does nothing for the integrity of the pipe during the bend to have that corner on. It's not so much of an issue with the 22mm, but it means it's much easier to get the pipe in and out of the bender. So it's only a very minor point, but if you're using it a lot, then it's probably worth doing. So what we've got 2 arms. We've got the actual former here that's curved to accept the pipe, and obviously that's what makes the bend. What we also have is a roller here. The pipe goes against the hook like that, and that holds it in place. Then we have these slips or guides, depending on whatever you want to call them. Mine are quite bad because they get used for a lot of other things. They're very good for tapping pipes into place, etc. Slip couplings, if you want to put an insert into a pipe and you want to slip a coupling over, you put it on there and just hammer it across and it knocks it on. Putting sleeves in, they're very useful, but they're right for it. Now these do have several names, as I just said. People call them slips or guides. I like to call them foxes, because every time you go to use the bender you go, where the fox at? These are incredibly easy. The only thing that's easier to lose than a pipe guide is a pipe slice. And if you've ever done any plumbing, you know exactly what I mean. So basically that fits half of the pipe, and then the other half of the pipe goes in there. Let's put it in without the hook first so you can see it. And if you look at it end on, hopefully I've got it reasonably accurately, you can see that the pipe's pretty much enclosed, and that's what actually lets it bend without rippling, the fact that it's touched sort of 360 degrees all round. Now, to make a really basic bend, you literally put the hook on, a little bit of pressure, and then all you do is pull the arms round. And as you pull it round, you can see it bends. The machine's actually got some guide marks on it. So there's one there for a 135 degree bend, one there for a 45 degree bend. There's this mark here, I'm hoping it's showing up, and one mark there. When you've bent it, it will slightly spring back open again afterwards. So there's your first bend. 15mm is great. I've pulled it slightly over 90 deliberately, but 15mm you can just tease back. It's so little. Even 22mm, you've got to be reasonably strong, but you can do it. You can stretch it a little bit. Now you may find when you've bent it that you get a load of rippling. That's either a cheap bender where there's too much clearance and it's just not holding it properly, or very bad copper, or it's cold. So if you're doing it on a very cold day and you're outside, or if the copper's been in the garage and it's freezing, it's not a bad idea to just very quickly just run a blow lamp up and down it, literally just up and back again, just to take the temperature of that copper up above really cold, and you'll find it bends much easier and much better. So there's a really basic guide for the first one. Come back and see the next video and we'll get on to a bit more advanced bending. Cheers then.